Yo, it looks like Nicki Minaj is at war with everybody, because first it was SZA and now it's Doechii. She had a fight with Doechii and Roc Nation. It wasn't just about egos, but about Doechii supposedly being trained, polished, and pushed forward by Roc Nation for one huge goal: to take Nicki Minaj's spot as queen. Well, that's if you let Nicki tell it. But how true is it? Is the queen paranoid? Cause trust me, the connection between Doechii and Roc Nation is super tight, but twice as dramatic. Could there be some truth to Nicki's claims? Let's get into it. Well, I guess they want Nicki to be the bad guy. Now everybody knows how unhinged the self-proclaimed queen of hip-hop Nicki Minaj has been on a rampage lately, leaving chaos everywhere and fighting everybody. One of her latest tussles was when she was declaring war on Jay-Z's camp. But Nicki Minaj isn't just blaming Jay-Z and Roc Nation for minor stuff. Her claim is that she is owed millions of dollars, and we'll get into that shortly. But before that, Nicki has yet another online battle. On station head and X, she has been bubbling with gossip, accusing both Jay-Z and Roc Nation of allegedly silencing her loyal fans, the Barbs, hiding their opinions from being seen, and planning a bad campaign to just get her out of here. And now many are left wondering if anyone can really silence the Barbs. But of course, the Barbs are fighting and riding or dying for Nicki, calling out the corporate bullying. But behind the online battles, Nicki's complaints also involve a lot of money in the music business. She recently shocked everybody when she dropped the news that Jay-Z owes her a cool $200 million from her share in Tidal. Nicki and her flock feel like even more than just the money, and Jay-Z and Roc Nation have betrayed her, and that what she's experiencing is clear disrespect for an artist's hard-earned value. Now, y'all know Nicki fights dirty, so the moment it became clear to her that Jay-Z wasn't listening, she decided to drag him all the way to hell. And what better way to kick Kova below the belt than mention his alleged illegitimate son? Yes, y'all, Nicki went there. She went as far as to bring up old rumors about Jay-Z's kids. Now, in case you missed it, Jay-Z has been trending after a judge has been going around that granted Ramir Satterthwaite's request to move forward in his case of paternity. And the judge has demanded Jay-Z to respond to Ramir's paternity lawsuit. And just when Jay-Z thought it couldn't get any worse, he also has to deal with the proceedings of Meg Thee Stallion's ongoing SZA case involving allegations of a hostile work environment by her cameraman. Y'all, DJ Academics broke loose and shared the news, saying that judge denied Roc Nation and Megan Thee Stallion motion to dismiss a lawsuit where her homosexual cameraman claims the twerker forced him to watch her have a freak-off sex with a woman inside a moving car while on tour in Ibiza. Y'all, Nicki immediately clocked it and went on the Twitter with a tweet clearly directed at Jay-Z, saying it's all karma for Jay-Z and Roc Nation doing her dirty. But what's the name of that law again? Karma law. Touch not my anointed law. Vengeance is the Lord's law. We gotta give God glory, and He's only just begun. Don't trust Nicki to drag literally everybody who gets in the way of her main fight, because Megan Thee Stallion is literally catching stray bullets over a war that has nothing to do with her. Now, some are even saying that the tweet went a bit too far, as Megan may have been cleared of these allegations. But nevertheless, Nicki Minaj says all's fair in hate and war, especially lately that she's been feeling like the whole industry is against her and expressive and to her fans. It's the kind of petty fighting that only a self-crowned queen pushed to her limits would do. But on top of that, Nicki feels like she's not just fighting for herself, but for every artist who has ever felt used by powerful people. And even worse, Nicki thinks both Roc Nation and Jay-Z have had a hand in trying to mess up her marriage. Well, these conspiracy theories have been flying, and they seem believable by the day, especially if other people share a similar experience, like Hot 97 host Nessa Biab, for instance, who jumped in saying that Roc Nation did similar shitty things to her partner, Colin Kaepernick. She co-signed Nicki Minaj's message saying, exposing the smear campaign tactics that Jay-Z, Roc Nation, and Desiree Perez did to her behind the scenes is very similar to what I was told that they did to Kaepernick, when Jay purposely co-opted Colin's protest by siding with the NFL to help their image after they blackballed Colin for his protest. She went on to say that she called them all out years ago, and so many people were scared to say it publicly, but would tell her how they agreed with her privately. And as if that wasn't bad enough, she added that Roc Nation apparently took $5 million a year over 5 years to bury the growing protest, and specifically help them move beyond the controversy around teams' unwillingness to sign Kaepernick. But it's tweets like this that make Nicki Minaj's case believable, even though many are not on Nicki's side, as she might have cried wolf one too many times. But when somebody like SZA, who has been around the block, supports these claims, it gives Nicki's accusations much more weight. More like, where there's smoke, there's often fire, and in this case, a whole huge fire. But moving on to a much interesting yet darker turn, Nicki Minaj went as far as feeding Doechii to the dogs in her fight with Doechii and Roc Nation. And what you're about to find out is that Doechii, with her seemingly sweet charm, becomes key to this unfolding drama. Just a few days ago, the internet was buzzing with yet another one of Nicki's rants, when she not only threw shade at Doechii, but also tried to tear her down with a fiery strike on X. But you have to understand how Doechii got caught up in all this. So we have to go all the way back to where it might have started. It all started when Nicki Minaj, with her usual intense style, turned her focus on SZA's former manager Terrence Punch Anderson, claiming that he had bullied her in the past. As you're all well aware, Nicki never forgets a slight, and she definitely doesn't hold back when she feels wronged. And she will wage war at her ops even years after the incident, which is exactly what happened in this case. SZA, unaware of what was going on, innocently dropped a tweet when she wrote, "Mercury retrograde, don't take the bait, silly goose." And Nicki kind of felt like SZA was addressing her, and that's when her inner chihuahua let loose. Yo guys saw it, a verbal bloodbath ensued. Nicki snapped, calling SZA all sorts of names, trashing her songs, saying she sings like she's been stung by a FMB. But that's not all, y'all. Nicki even called SZA ugly and even dared to shame her for releasing Llama as a bigger version of her Grammy-winning SOS. By the tone, Nicki was trying to bash SZA for sounding like a dead dog, and she had already said too much. And that's the thing about Nicki, she don't really know when to stop. And that's where many people tend to differ with Nicki. She's always dragging literally every female artist unprovoked and bringing up comparisons between her and them. And as it is, many people felt like she was out of line, given the fact that SZA didn't even address her in the first place. But once she was done body shaming her, the nerve, she again went for SZA's career. Wait, does SZA think she's more successful than me? Catch me up, please. SZA, if every song you've ever done vanished right now, the music business wouldn't even miss you. I've been to countries that's never heard of you before. But important for y'all to note, SZA made one tweet that literally could have been about anything, but Nicki chose to believe it was directed at her. Talk about trying to pick a fight. But then someone might be like, what if it was directed to her? Well, if in a rare chance that SZA was at fault trying to go for the queen, then what about Doechii? What did she do? Because out of the nowhere, Nicki dragged her as well. Nicki's seemingly random, but clearly planned attack on Doechii kept just unraveling. She dropped a chilling, almost secret message, MTM minus 30 million, with a picture of a scary Chucky doll. Now, for those of you who didn't immediately get the bad meaning, that was a harsh public dig at Doechii, talking about online reports that the anxiety artist had supposedly lost a whopping 30 million listeners on streaming services over the past 3 months. And whether this is true or not, everybody was like, wait, how did Doechii end up in here? Doechii was noticeably staying completely quiet, and it's for the best because responding to someone trying to drag you unprovoked only means that you're equally mad. So let's connect these bright and dangerous dots. Roc Nation, which is supposedly causing Nicki's problems, has a well-known friendly strategic relationship with Top Dog Entertainment. They are practically like twins in the industry, sharing artists, money, and a whole lot of behind-the-scenes moves. But Roc Nation, being mostly a management company, relies heavily on working with labels like TDE, which have more record deals. So yeah, it's one big close-knit music industry family. But that said, it's not a stretch to think that a celebrity-filled management company like Roc Nation would find a promising artist like Doechii, then use their wide network, including their friendly partners at TDE, to help her rise. This kind of teamwork, while seemingly harmless, can be a place where Nicki's resentment grows now that Roc Nation allegedly did her dirty. But after the exchanges, SZA and Doechii remain largely unaffected, mainly because of Nicki's fallen reputation. The internet, of course, went crazy. Some found fun in it, but others called it childish. But many called out Nicki for dragging this too far and attacking people who had nothing to do with her, said unpaid $200 million from Jay-Z. Somebody said, Nicki too old to act this way, oh my gosh. This other comment read, "There's a common denominator here with these female beefs." Another said, "She need a new dealer. Her product made her paranoid or something." And then another called it out as, "At some point, y'all, Nicki fans really have to admit she's the problem." Not gonna lie, ain't nobody wrong there, because this list of female artists that Nicki has feuded with is longer than her hit list. Cardi B, Meg Thee Stallion, Lotto, Remy Ma, Lil' Kim, SZA, and now Doechii. It's no longer giving queen behavior. It kind of exposes her personality insecurities on full display. And what's becoming clear is that anytime a woman starts rising in her own lane, Nicki finds a way to throw a punch, and when it doesn't work, she goes low. And that fat shaming, the career shaming, the classless jabs, they've become her go-to tools. And Doechii's defenders also brought up the fact that Nicki was just jealous because unlike Doechii, who is much younger, she has never won a Grammy and is married to a registered offender. But the person wrote, "Grammy on her arm, arrest on yours." Ooh, but aside from the Barbie handles, the public response looks bleak for Nicki. And one more thing, besides the alleged industry plots, there's hidden reason for Nicki Minaj's recent actions that points to a deeper, more personal struggle. The fear of being past her best years. While she used to put out a heady stream of new lyrics, amazing music videos, and songs that top the charts, the sheer number and constant success of those good old days have likely slowed down. And this is a normal path for any artist, especially in the music style like hip-hop that is always changing and driven by younger talent. The non-stop flow of new artists, all fighting for their share, creates huge pressure to always be the new and stay on top. And for an artist who has worn the crown for so long, the small shift in public attention, the rise of new voices, and the changing taste in music can be very frustrating. And Nicki's desire to get back what she once had and prove that she still got it could also explain why she's taken out her frustration on these up-and-coming kids that she needs to be mentoring. But what Nicki seems to forget is that trying to get back to past glory never ends well. Even though the music industry is quick with the limelight, it's also clear that Nicki's shortcomings are mostly self-inflicted. But the craziest part about all this is just how Jay-Z has chosen to look the other way. While Nicki is deep in the fight, Jay-Z is out here making a big surprise appearance at Beyonce's Paris Renaissance tour, enjoying his wife's huge spotlight and singing his lungs out. But some Barbies think it was just a diversion aimed at taking away attention from the huge fire Nicki was starting online. But at this point, does anybody care? Because at the end of the day gon' end. And it seems like many are of the opinion that Nicki needs to find herself a hobby, other than arguing about other musicians for clout that lasts 3 days at the most, trying to rage bait when they're paying her in dust. She should unplug even for a little bit because her own anxiety is taking over, queen. So if not to protect her legacy, then Nicki should do it for her sanity. Her sanity! Please take over, please. Y'all drop your thoughts and comments below and then check out this next video.